In June of 2023, a New York attorney stood before a federal judge in deep, deep trouble. He had submitted a legal brief to the court, one that was, on its face, brilliant. It was eloquent, intricately argued, and cited numerous legal precedents to support its case. There was just one single catastrophic problem. The cases he cited, they were completely and utterly fake. The artificial intelligence he had used, ChatGPT, had hallucinated them. It had invented entire legal histories out of thin air. This wasn't just a moment of profound professional blunder. It was a perfect, chilling metaphor for the precipice on which we all now stand. A core human function, the careful, deliberate, and accountable practice of legal reasoning, was unbundled from human accountability with disastrous public results. This single event was not an anomaly. It was the first powerful tremor of a tectonic shift, a seismic event that the author of today's book calls the Great Unbundling. For our entire history, from the savannah to the boardroom, our value as human beings has come from our human package, that incredible, integrated bundle of intelligence, creativity, emotional depth, and physical skill. But what happens when a new technology comes along that doesn't just help that bundle, but actively, systematically, and relentlessly dissolves it? Today, on CEO's Library, we are dissecting J.Y. Sterling's paradigm-shifting book, The Great Unbundling, AI, and the End of the Human Package. And let me be clear, this is not just another book about artificial intelligence. It makes the stunning and deeply researched argument that we are in the process of deconstructing the very basis of human economic value, and that this process is being driven by forces that are nearly impossible to stop. By the end of this episode, you will have a framework to understand the most significant transformation of our time. You will understand, first, why this technological shift is fundamentally different from every other one in human history. Second, you will learn about the three-part inevitability engine that is driving this change at an exponential speed, whether we like it or not. And third, and most importantly, you will be confronted with the critical choice you, as a leader and an individual, have to make to stay relevant in a world where your most valuable skills are rapidly becoming a commodity. Imagine for a moment, our ancestor on the savannah, 100,000 years ago. Their genius wasn't just in their brain, or their hands, or their eyes. It was in the seamless, miraculous integration of everything. The mind that spotted the faint tracks in the dust was the same mind that felt the spike of fear at the scent of a predator, the same mind that calculated the wind, the same mind that directed the hand to craft and then throw the spear with precision. They were the ultimate all-in-one ape. Their survival depended on this tightly woven bundle of analytics, emotion, and action. Now fast forward to today, the artificial intelligence that passed the bar exam with flying colors has no mind in the way we understand it. It feels no fear. It has no hands. It is just a function, a powerful, disembodied function of legal reasoning, separated from the whole. For millennia, our strength as a species was our bundled versatility. What happens to us when that is no longer an advantage, but a liability? This is the very core of what Sterling calls the Great Unbundling. Most of us, especially in leadership, try to contextualize new technology by looking to the past. We think of AI as a tool, a powerful one, but a tool nonetheless, like the printing press. The author argues this is a dangerously fundamentally flawed analogy. The printing press empowered the human bundle. It externalized knowledge, storing it on paper, but it still required a fully integrated human mind to read it, to process it, to critique it, and to synthesize new ideas from that knowledge. The printing press was a library for the mind, not a replacement for it. It augmented human reach, but the human bundle remained the star of the show. Artificial intelligence is profoundly different. It is a replacement for the functions of the mind itself. It doesn't just store knowledge for us to analyze, it performs the analysis for us. It doesn't just hold data for us to build a narrative around, it writes the narrative itself. Sterling makes a crucial distinction here between a tool and an agent. A hammer is a tool. It is an extension of our physical power, but it is utterly useless without a human's intent, skill, and direction. An AI, increasingly, is an agent. We don't use it to help us write a market analysis report. We give it a high-level goal, analyze the last quarter's sales data, and write a 10-page report on emerging market trends, and it writes the report for us. The human role shifts from doer to director, from creator to mere prompter. This isn't augmentation in the traditional sense. It is the methodical outsourcing of cognition itself. Function by function, the human package is being deconstructed, and its parts are being replaced by more efficient, scalable, and cheaper non-human agents. So how do you apply this terrifyingly profound insight? You must start by looking at your own work, your own role, and your own company through this new lens. I want you to perform what I'll call an unbundling audit. Think about a complex, high-value task you perform. Let's say, for example, preparing a quarterly strategy presentation for your board. On the surface, that's a single task. But in reality, it is a bundle of dozens of smaller functions. There is the function of data collection from various departments. There is the function of statistical analysis to find trends and anomalies. There is the function of narrative creation, of weaving that data into a compelling story about where the company has been and where it's going. There is the function of visual design, creating clear and impactful slides. And finally, there's the function of public speaking and persuasion, delivering the presentation. Now, go through that list and ask yourself, honestly, which of these functions could be performed, not by a simple tool, but by an AI agent, not in 10 years, but right now or in the next 12 months. The data collection? Absolutely. The analysis? Increasingly, yes. The creation of a first draft narrative and the slide design? Without a doubt, soon, even a passable audio or video version of the presentation will be possible. The point of this audit isn't to make you fear for your job tomorrow morning, it's to force you to see, with brutal clarity, where your unique, bundled human value truly lies. And here is the key. It is almost never in the individual, discrete functions. Anyone can run a data analysis tool. Your true, defensible value is in the integration. It's in the judgment you use to question a piece of data that the AI takes at face value. It's in the accountability you take for the final message. It's in the wisdom to know what to emphasize and what to omit for a specific audience. It's the ability to tie all those unbundled functions back together into a coherent, accountable, and trustworthy whole. That integration is the last bastion of the human package. A common, almost reflexive response to all of this is, okay, it's disruptive, but humanity has always adapted. We'll create new jobs. We'll regulate it. We'll manage it. But have you ever felt like this is all moving too fast to control? That there's a sense of chaotic, unstoppable momentum that feels different from past technological shifts? Sterling's book argues that this feeling is not just a feeling, it is an accurate perception of reality. We are living inside what he calls the inevitability engine. This engine is a powerful, self-perpetuating system with three massive, interlocking gears that are grinding together to drive the great unbundling forward at escape velocity, with or without our consent. The first massive gear is the logic of capital. Modern capitalism, for all its virtues, is programmed with a simple, relentless prime directive: seek efficiency and maximize profit. Artificial intelligence is arguably the most powerful tool ever invented to achieve this directive. It promises to automate cognitive labor, the single biggest cost for most modern corporations, on an unimaginable scale. When a company like JP Morgan announces it has a tool that saved 360,000 work hours in a single year with an AI model, that isn't just a press release, it's a shot fired in a corporate war. Every single one of their competitors, every bank, every financial institution, is now forced to follow suit or risk being rendered uncompetitive and obsolete. The fiduciary duty to the shareholder becomes a mandate for aggressive AI adoption. This gear turns on its own. The second, even larger gear is the geopolitical accelerator. This isn't just a race between corporations, it's an all-out AI arms race between the United States and China. But if both nations, and increasingly others, view dominance in artificial intelligence as the absolute key to 21st century economic, military, and cultural power, this competition is a massive accelerator pedal pushed to the floor. It ensures that development will proceed at a breakneck pace, with national security interests consistently overriding concerns about ethics, job displacement, or long-term societal consequences. When the prize is global hegemony, there is very little room for caution. And the third gear, which locks the other two in place, is the governance vacuum. While our leaders hold AI safety summits and talk about the need for guardrails, the reality is a global landscape with no binding international treaties, no global enforcement body for AI. This creates a playground of what Sterling calls regulatory arbitrage. If the European Union passes strict laws, a company can simply move its most aggressive research and development or its most sensitive data functions to a jurisdiction with weaker laws. Capital and innovation, like water, will always flow to the path of least resistance. This makes any single country's regulations almost performative. It ensures that if something can be built, it will be built somewhere by someone. These three forces, the relentless logic of capital, the zero-sum paranoia of geopolitics, and the vacuum of global governance, lock together into a self-sustaining engine. It's an engine that is churning out ever more powerful AI agents and feeding the unbundling process almost independent of our individual or even national intentions. As a leader, you cannot fight this engine head-on. It's too big, too powerful. But you absolutely must understand its mechanics to navigate the world it is creating. The application here is one of strategic awareness. First, you must stop evaluating AI adoption in your company as a simple return on investment decision. It is not. You must recognize the immense competitive and geopolitical pressures that are forcing your hand and the hands of your competitors. Second, you must watch for the signs of regulatory arbitrage in your industry. When a competitor suddenly moves a key research and development lab or a major data processing function to a different country, that is not a trivial relocation. It is a strategic signal that they are exploiting this governance vacuum to gain an edge. Understanding these macro forces allows you to move from a reactive, fearful posture to a proactive, strategic one, anticipating the systemic pressures before they arrive at your door. So if the Great Unbundling is being driven by this seemingly unstoppable engine, what is the end game? What happens when this process runs its course? What happens when the market value of most discrete human intelligence, most generic human creativity, and most routine human labor approaches zero? The book confronts this head-on with a terrifying but necessary concept, the prospect of the zero-value human. This is not a judgment on the intrinsic worth of a person, but a cold, economic calculation. In a world where an AI can write a legal brief, design a marketing campaign, or manage a logistics network for a fraction of the cost of a human, the economic value of a human performing that same bundled task trends towards nothing. This isn't just an economic crisis, it's a profound crisis of purpose and meaning. For centuries, our identity has been inextricably linked to what we do. If we are not what we do, then what, exactly, are we? Sterling argues, this terrifying prospect forces humanity down one of two divergent paths. It is a fundamental choice about the future of our species. Path 1 is the path of the ghost in the machine. In this future, we accept our economic obsolescence. Society is perhaps sustained by some form of universal basic income, a stipend from the immense wealth generated by the AI-powered economy. We are, in theory, free from the drudgery and necessity of work. But this is a dangerous, hollow utopia. Without the structure, the challenges, and the meaning that work provides, we risk becoming a society of passive consumers. We could be pacified by infinitely novel, AI-generated entertainment, forming our deepest relationships with virtual companions, our lives curated by algorithms designed to keep us comfortable and docile. We become the ghosts in a vast, efficient machine we no longer control or even understand. We become comfortable, but utterly, tragically, inconsequential. Path 2 is the path of the new artisan. This is the path of active, conscious resistance, not a resistance of smashing the machines, like the Luddites of old, but a far more sophisticated rebellion. This is the path of consciously and deliberately rebundling our skills in uniquely, profoundly human ways. The central economic logic here is this: as artificial intelligence makes generic content, generic products, and generic services infinitely abundant, and therefore nearly free, the economic and cultural value of things that are scarce, authentic, bespoke, and carry a deep human story skyrockets. The new artisan isn't just a potter making a clay mug or a woodworker carving a chair. That's the archetype. But the concept is much broader. The new artisan is the AI ethics consultant who bundles a deep knowledge of code with an even deeper understanding of philosophy and human history. The new artisan is the experience designer who bundles technology, psychology, and a flair for the dramatic to create a truly memorable, unautomatable live event. The new artisan is the leader who bundles their analytical skills with profound empathy to mentor their team through a difficult transition. The new artisan is anyone who masterfully integrates disparate skills in a way that defies the simple, function-based logic of automation. They create value through complexity, humanity, and trust. This right here is the most critical takeaway from the entire book. Your survival, your relevance, and your fulfillment in the unbundled world will depend on your ability to become a new artisan. Here is a concrete exercise to begin that journey. Conduct a friction audit on your work and your life. Take a piece of paper or open a new document. On one side, make a list of all your frictionless tasks. These are the tasks that are about speed, data, efficiency, and optimization. They are about finding the cleanest, fastest path from A to B. These are the tasks that are most vulnerable to being unbundled and automated. Now, on the other side, list your high-friction tasks. These are the messy, complex, emotionally charged, ethically ambiguous challenges that have no easy answer. They are the difficult conversations with an underperforming team member, They are the mentorship moments that build trust and loyalty. They are the creative leaps of faith that come from struggle and uncertainty. They are the moments of building true consensus between warring factions. That is your defensible territory. That is your moat. The strategic imperative for every leader, every executive, every entrepreneur listening to this is clear. You must ruthlessly automate the frictionless. Use AI as an agent to clear your plate of the routine and the predictable, and then you must double down with all of your focus, energy, and development on mastering the art of high-friction work. Rebundle your technical skills with these deep human skills: empathy, communication, ethical judgment, and creative synthesis. That is how you build a new, more valuable human package. So let's bring it all together. The world we knew, a world built on the inherent value of the integrated human package, is being systematically deconstructed by the Great Unbundling. This process, unlike any technological shift before it, is not a choice. It is being driven by a powerful inevitability engine, forged from the gears of capitalism, geopolitics, and a profound lack of global governance. This reality leaves us, as a society and as individuals, with a stark and fundamental choice. Do we passively accept our obsolescence and become a ghost in the machine, comfortable but irrelevant? Or do we actively fight to become a new artisan, finding new and profound value, not in the easily automated, but in the beautifully messily and complexly human? Your challenge this week is simple, but it is profound. Perform that friction audit. Identify the one high-friction skill that you know is your unique strength, the one that truly makes you invaluable, and find one tangible way to invest in it this week. Sign up for a course, read a challenging book, volunteer for a difficult, messy project. Your goal is no longer to be the smartest person in the room, but the most human person in the room. Your task is not to outcompute the machine, but to outhuman it. For a full transcript of this episode, links to resources, and more deep dives into books that matter, visit us at ceoslibrary.com. The Amazon link to buy your own copy of The Great Unbundling by J.Y. Sterling, in either print or as an audiobook, is included in our episode description. I highly recommend you get it. This is not just a conversation for the future, it is the most important conversation we all need to be having right now.